I would therefore like to invite the candidates for the presidency of the European Commission to make a short reaction to these preliminary results, followed, of course, by a few questions. And starting from the European People's Party candidate, Manfred Weber.
So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, the most important outcome of today's, or the last 4 election days, is for me that the European democracy is alive. We have a turnout of about more than 50%, and that is a great victory for the European democracy. People voted, people decided about the future of our continent, and that is great. I want to thank all my friends who also run in the European elections, the competitors from the Socialists, Franz Timmermans, from the Greens, Ska Keller, Bas Eickhout, from all the other political families who had spitzenkandidaten. I think we showed a fair and a democratic competition, and that brought again this idea of a European democracy alive. You know that I myself, I fought and fight for a European Parliament which is the center of the European political development, where we decide in the European Parliament about the main lines for the future of Europe, and that idea is today strongly strengthened. The second element, the second outcome is we are facing a shrinking center of the European Parliament, the center of those parties who believe in the future of Europe, who wants to strengthen Europe, who wants to have an ambitious approach for the future of Europe. That is what we are facing, a shrinking center. For the EPP, today's feeling is not a feeling of, first of all, of victory, because we are losing seats. What we can say is that we are happy to be again the first group in the European Parliament, to be the biggest group, to be in the first row. That is what we are happy about, but again, we also see that we lose seats. I promised in the European election campaign, I promised stability. When you vote for if you vote for an EPP party on European level, you will get finally a group who is ready to create stability. And having this in mind, I see a few, let me say, steps ahead of us. One element is that I want to clarify that for the EPP, for the European People's Party, there is no chance for any cooperation, no will, no readiness for any cooperation with extremists from the left and from the right. I said this during the campaign several times. For us, I can really say there will be no cooperation with any party who don't believe in the European spirit and the future project of the European Union. A second element for this stability is that we want to invite to talk now about the content, about the mandate for the next 5 years. What people have told us during the campaign must now be included in a mandate for the future project of the European Union for the next 5 years on European level. For us, it's also clear that we stick to the idea of spitzenkandidaten. There will be no support for any other candidate than a candidate who presented his program, his profile, and his personality before the people went to vote. And when we speak about stability, then there is no majority, no stable majority against the EPP possible. And having in mind that the EPP is today the strongest group, obviously when we look to the figures, let's see about the final outcome then, we have also a leading function in this. And finally, to give you an idea of what are the next steps now from our point of view, the first step is that in the next upcoming days, the European Parliament should again confirm that we stick to the Spitzenkandidat concept. EPP is ready to do so. I hope others will also follow. And the second is that we create the mandate among the pro-European parties, the content, the projects for the future. And these projects can be finally also discussed with the Council. You know that the Council is discussing about strategic guidelines for the future. And I hope that we can combine the mandate of the European Parliament together with the strategic guidelines of the Council to bring it together, to merge them, and to have a proper idea for what is now to do for the next 5 years on European level. So for me, the most important message is stop crisis times, stop crisis thinking in Europe, and let's start with an optimistic perspective for a Europe which can show to the citizens we can achieve so much together if we work together. And secondly, start a Europe of people. I want to start a commission of the people. That is what we as EPP fought for, and we have a mandate for this.
Thank you. We'll have time for some questions now. Financial Times, Marine?
Mehreen Khan from the Financial Times. Mr. Weber, given that the Liberals and Guy Verhofstadt have been the most vocal opponents of the spitzenkandidat system, and including the French president, tonight's numbers show that you could have a majority, a stable alliance that doesn't include ALDE, the Liberals or En Marche. Are you willing to entertain the idea of having a tripartite coalition without the Liberals?
When I look to the figures, then I don't see a majority against Liberals, I don't see a majority against Socialists, I don't see a majority against the EPP. So what I would ask us to do is to join our forces, to work together from now on. Those again who believe in the spirit of an ambitious Europe, of a Europe of projects, of a Europe which can show to the people that it is in their interest to have a strong European Union, those politicians must work together from now on. We showed people alternatives during the campaign. That is a normal thing, that is a good thing, that is a healthy thing in a democracy. But from now on, those who want to have a strong European Union has to join their forces. And that is again my invitation to the Socialists, Liberals, and also to the Greens, because having the figures in mind, the Greens are also the winners of the day. That's why again the Greens are possible partners. I think we should sit together and should define now the mandate for the next 5 years.
Ruud, Telegraaf.
Mr. Weber, your political group remains the biggest one, but you also lose a lot of seats. What's your message to the leaders in the Council, and does this weaken your chances for the top job in the European Commission?
Well, when you refer to the outcome of my party, my biggest message is first of all that I want to thank those who voted for us. A lot of people in the European Union voted for us, and that is what I have in mind. And again, what we will divide is this democratization, this parliamentarization of the European Union. When people take it serious, the European elections, then the leaders should also take it serious, what happened today. That is what I am asking for. And having these democratic principles in mind, I think those who will finally have to join together, have to find a common understanding for the future. Those parties have to respect who is number one, who is number two, who is the number three, in the question who has finally the leading role. Again, for us, I don't feel a real powerful victory today. I can only say that I am happy that we arrive as the strongest political family. That is a big achievement. That was our main goal when we started our campaign, to arrive again as a group who can ask for the right to lead. But we are open for all the other contributions. We are open for content, and we are open for other contributions when it is about the distribution of the posts on European level.
Last one, Christoph. Pap.
Thank you, Christopher Strzemka, Polish Press Agency. The question about the Hungary's Fidesz. Did you have an opportunity to talk with Mr. Viktor Orban, or are you going to talk with him? Because without him, the leader's position might change, taking into account the socialists may be joined by Wiosna from Poland and Syriza from Greece. And if it happens, are you ready to support Mr. Timmermans for spitzenkandidaten, for lead candidate? Thank you.
Well, for the moment, the EPP is with around 26, what were the latest figures? 26 seats ahead as biggest political family in the next European Parliament. That answers the question on Fidesz. So the EPP is the strongest political family in the European Parliament, in the upcoming Parliament. And that's why for us it's a key question to join again those who really believe in the future of the European Union.
Thank you very much,
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mr. Weber.